Welcome back. A new study finds a record number of Americans are suffering from problems related to mental health. According to researchers at NYU Langone Medical Center, more than 8.3 million Americans are in serious psychological distress, commonly referred to as SPD. People with this condition often feel stuck with feelings of sadness and worthlessness, which are severe enough to cause impairment in social and workplace functioning. Joining us now to talk about it is the president and CEO of TruBalanced and author of this, 5 Bold Choices. Rise above your circumstances and redefine your life. Jay Coughlan is here with us right now. And Jay, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And that is exactly what you did. You went to prison. You spent 6 months behind bars and came out and changed your life. How did you do it?
Well, it was the choices that I made. I think life is all about the opportunities and challenges that demand some kind of response. And in my case, it was these choices that I did every day that allowed me to define who I wanted to be. Because the reality for me, I didn't want to be defined by my worst moment. I wanted to have the ability, the privilege to write my story differently than what was happening to me at that point in my life. So for me, I have a story of perseverance, I have a story of hope, I have a story of faith, which is really about the choices that you get to make that give you the privilege to write the rest of your story.
Tell our audience why you were incarcerated.
I was driving home on January 3rd, 1998 with my father. Unfortunately, we made a mistake and went to a bar, drank too much. I missed a turn, drunk, went down a hill and hit a train at 60 miles an hour. I woke up in a trauma center in Minneapolis, and I looked up, I saw my wife, I saw my mom. I could see something was terribly wrong. I mean, I was in pieces, I was in a lot of pain, but my mom leaned down and said, "Your dad didn't make it." And I said, "What?" She said, "Your dad didn't make it." And I got to tell you, you don't know what pain is until you hear something like that. I just went to a place that was you know, it was just torment, it was ugly. And then I was in a hospital in pieces, and a gentleman led me to faith. So I had a newfound faith. I could begin to see again and feel again. And then the realities of everything else, it wasn't like my life just got better at that point. You know, I went through a trial, you know, and I ended up going to jail. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep my job. I'm trying to keep my family together. I had 3 young kids. I had a wife, and you're trying to manage through all that. And it was, every day was about me getting up and was about the choices that I made. And I always describe myself as somebody who has a really small rear view mirror and a giant windshield. And because I'm always looking forward. I mean, I learn from the past, but it's about looking forward. And for me, I was getting up every day, whether I was just chunking to get through that day, and some days it was just get through the day. But I always had this vision and this clarity about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to become.
Well, I always tell people that using the Serenity Prayer, whether you've been through recovery or not, that really helps you focus on your faith. You know,
I love the Serenity
Grant me
Prayer.
the serenity to accept what I can't change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And we don't talk about faith enough in this country, I think, Jay.
Yeah, you know, the faith was a foundation. I didn't have a faith until this gentleman came in the hospital and led me to a faith. So it was pretty powerful. And for me, that foundation was extremely strong. And one of the things, I went through a trial for 6 months. And I don't know if you've ever been in a nightmare where you close your eyes at night, you're thinking about it, and when you wake up, you're thinking about it. And so this newfound faith gave me a peace. And that peace let me sleep, let me get up and fight for my life, meet my lawyers, go to my job, you know, deal with the family issues. But yeah, it was extremely powerful, and I didn't even know it existed prior to that accident.
So real quick, the 5 bold choices. You keep saying, I made certain choices. Give us some of those choices. Well,
it was choices like clarity. You know, do you know where you're going? Do you know what you're trying to do? For me, I knew I wanted to be a CEO. I was always focused on that. So when I got out of the fog and it was clear again, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and it was just how I was going to get back on track. And I can't tell you how many people told me, "You can't do it. There's no way you're going to make it. You know, you can't do this." And I spent no time, 0 time listening to them.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jay, for the empowerment and encouragement today, and our condolences to you. Good for you.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on the book as well. Jay Coughlan there.